October 26th, 2025. I'm in Norwich, Connecticut, driving down Plain Hill Road. It is a Sunday. I'm going to drive around a little bit and try to get the last glance at whatever's left of the foliage. I want to take a look at Asylum Street because they're repaving, and I want to see if that repaving job is completed. And I should probably head over to Mohegan Park just to grab some, the foliage situation up there. As I try to jump out onto West Town Street, which can be difficult at times, but right now looks okay. So it was cloudy earlier today. Right now it's 12:35 p.m. By the way, let me pull in here for a second. It's probably a little unorthodox, but because I kind of quickly whipped off the road. Right there is the former location of the Grange, and I have a whole series of videos I did on that historic building that was torn down. They're starting work on the Dunkin', Dunkin' Donuts. Now they call it Dunkin'. They shortened it because apparently they don't like, who knows? They had a big meeting up in, the board or whatever, and decided to get rid of the donuts part because, donuts are considered, they're not good for you, or they're too greasy, whatever. They're, unhealthy, or, whatever reasons that they dropped the donuts from the thing. Now they just call it Dunkin'. I mean, I think that's kind of ridiculous, but whatever. I mean, you have name recognition like Dunkin' Donuts for decades, and then you get rid of it, and you just, get rid of one of the words at a cost of millions and millions of dollars, changing signs, doing this, that. It makes no sense to me. Whatever. I'm just a regular guy. I'm not some big corporate genius that, Madison Avenue marketing guru, but somebody came up with it. I mean, my thing is, if you put out a good product, it really doesn't matter what the name of the place is. People will come back. As you can see, as we drive down West Town Street, on the left, beautiful foliage there. But some trees are completely barren. Leaves are starting to fall down aggressively right now. There's some trees that have no leaves on them at all. There's other trees that, are fully, haven't lost a single leaf yet. But I notice, for example, today is Sunday. My lawn was mowed Thursday, and it was flawless. Today, you look at it, it's buried with leaves. So, I mean, things, again, directly in front of us, a lot of the trees there have no leaves. Things are starting to get, more accelerated. Let me think about this for a minute. I'll just drive quickly around the green here, with Norwich Town Green to the right. I got to work my way over to Asylum Street. There's a variety of ways I can do that. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take a right. It says no right turn, but that's for trucks. That's for large trucks because they can't make it, basically. It's just not, it's such a severe radius that they won't be able to make the turn. So the election signs are still out all over the place. We have an election coming up early November, and for mayor, city council, board of education in Norwich. Let me think here. Yeah, I'll go straight. Again, I could get to Asylum and it could be completely shut down. The other day it was shut down, but I'm thinking if they worked through the night, which would make sense, they could have paved the whole thing. I think it's supposed to be a 3-day project. So So let's take a look. As now we're on New London Turnpike, you got the former Benny's over there. You got Gorin's Furniture on the right. And we got a red light. And we'll just wait this thing out a little bit. So yeah, not too many. I mean, let me look up there. Minimal amount of clouds. These videos that I do, these driving videos, are probably gonna... Well, I won't be doing as many as I do in the summer. I mean, I went animal this summer doing these videos. Some I did 2, 3, 4 days in a row, which is highly unusual for me. But I want to get in as much footage as I possibly can. But now things slow down because we're going to have the the time change. It gets darker earlier, all this, and that affects my shadowing. Now, I don't like shadows. I don't like the car shadow in the video and different things. It's my preference not to do that. So what I could do, normally these videos, this one for example, I'm going to try to do one take. This isn't going to be a long video. I'm just going to do a sweep around Norwich, and I say that, but I'm going to try to stick to it and just look at some of the foliage. It's not going to be a comprehensive look. I already have 2 or 3 other foliage videos up there in Norwich, but I figured I'd try to slip one more in. But I can't do... Okay, people are turning down Asylum Street, so that... Let's take a look. Okay, it's not brand new here, so that means part of Asylum Street is probably either shut down completely or... Well, we're on Asylum Street. We're going to find out. I'm going to try to go all the way down the end of this thing. But if I do videos in the future and I cut... I mean, these driving... I'm going to be doing them, but if I do them once the time changes and everything, we change the clocks and all that. Fall back, spring ahead. So fall back. I'm going to be... I normally do videos in one take. I start the video, drive, and then it ends. It's just, there's no minimal amount of edit. Sometimes I'll have to edit something out because it's just ridiculous, can't be on screen. It's some bizarre thing. Technical difficulty, I had to pull over, whatever the case may be. But that's what I'll have to do in the future, is I will have to cut my videos, which I prefer not to do, but I will have no choice. So I'm on Asylum Street, and I do not see any, it's not paved, not freshly paved, so we're probably approaching an area... Wow, the dog park is... There's like one person at the dog park, so... Whoa, okay. I see the Asylum Street directly ahead, raised structures ahead, groove pavement. Okay, so they're cutting this whole road out of here. They're grinding this thing right out. Bump here. Okay, so we're on grooved pavement right now. So this is going to be beautiful when it's done. They did put... I predicted this. They did put in... I believe new gas lines, or some, extensive digging that they did that, wow, this is like a mine, like an obstacle course. So this groove pavement, I'm surprised they're not working on a Sunday. Today'd be a good day. Or maybe they're doing all the work at night. That's a possibility. The road is definitely drivable, but you got to keep your eyes peeled for these manhole covers, and they call them, what do they call them, catch basins or whatever. Those are the tricky elements. So okay, they haven't laid down any pavement yet. I get it. They're gonna grind up probably the rest of Asylum Street. watch my step here. Okay, I might actually have to go over one of these catch basins. Well, let's see if I can make it. All right. Whew, it's kind of it's a little tight. All right, we made it. We made it through the catch basin obstacle course. So let me go to the... I mean, I can do anything here. I want to work my way over to, I think, the Mohegan Park area. But I want to catch some foliage. Got a guy walking across the street. He sees a GoPro on my car. It's a GoPro. That's the camera. I am shooting 4K 60 frames per second today in wide. The reason I put it on wide is because I want to get in, as much foliage as I possibly can. I mean, that's a cool tree right there with that lighting. And to me, I mean, on the right back there. I have seen, yesterday I was driving away from my house at probably 5:30 p.m. So the sun, the sun was starting to go down, and there was a huge tree on this particular street that was backlit. In other words, the light was behind this gigantic tree. The sunlight, as it came down on the horizon, was behind this gigantic tree, and the leaves of the tree, that particular tree, were... I'm on Elizabeth Street. I'm taking a left onto Benjamin Street. The leaves on that particular tree were yellow, or, yellowy orange, getting into that beautiful, autumn color. And it had not lost any of its leaves yet. So it was a enormous tree. This is an old tree. Very tall, very huge trunk. Giant yellow leaves. The sunlight directly behind it shooting at a, direct parallel angle. I mean, I've lived there for many, many years. That's probably one of the most beautiful sights that I've seen for foliage ever. I did not have my camera. I did not have any. I couldn't. Stopping was not a possibility on that particular spot there. But somebody was with me in the vehicle, and we both went wow. That's not something you see every day. And I'm sure I'll never see anything like that ever again. It's just all there were clouds in the sky, and the sun was piercing through the clouds in a tiny spot, like a spotlight lighting up this tree, this gigantic tree. As I turn off West Ledge Drive onto Dunham Street. But I don't think I'll ever see anything like that ever again. That was one of these rare, just everything had to be right. But clouds with a opening in the cloud, very tiny opening in the clouds, a hole, and it just put a spotlight on the back of this tree. Insane. Absolute, mind-blowing. People, if anybody else, I'm sure there was, traffic and cars behind me, in front of me, anybody else that saw it, if you miss that, then you are just not, you ain't paying attention. Directly ahead of us, that house up straight ahead up on the hill there has been repainted, remodeled. I don't know, new windows. It's some significant upgrades to that historic property. As I turn left off of Dunham Street onto West Thames Street, engine number 6 pizza to my left back there. Very good. So I'm on West Thames right now. There's a few clouds up there, not many. I'd prefer more. Personally, I prefer a totally overcast day. It's better for foliage viewing. But see the tree to the right completely gone. No more leaves, and other trees are completely full of leaves. Got another guy looked at my camera. The guy had a chainsaw over his shoulders. He's looking at my camera. That's a good combination. Chainsaw and looking at that guy, me, that camera on the car. As I work my way over to the Mohegan Park area, I'll go through the city. I'll go down, down city. Police station up here on the right-hand side. There it is. And this year, 2025, one of the big projects in Norwich was taking down Marina Towers, which I documented tons of that. I mean, I have the last, when they were finishing up the last, it wasn't a wrecking ball. I was going to hit the last swings of the wrecking ball. As a matter of fact, I'll pull in, I'll show you what it looks like now. Right to the right, there was a building there, right to the immediate right. Let me pull in here real quick. But it was taken down by a team of people that did a spectacular job. I mean, those guys, whoa, they knew what they were doing big time. I mean, that's their job. They're experts in the field, obviously. But man, I was watching them. They were just really nailing it. And I happened to be there. I think I shot over an hour, handheld, standing in one location. I was kind of after a while I was getting a little shaky, but I'm pretty happy with the video. All right, so right straight ahead, there would be a building behind the brick. Let me swing over a little bit. I can't do too much because there's cars. Right to the left, there was a big building, Marina Towers. Now it's nothing. They have plans for that area. They're going to make it real nice. All right, let me work my way. Yeah, I'll go through the city. Again, this isn't going to be one of my super long videos. I got to get something in there. I got to keep my YouTube algorithm going. I try to put up at least a video a week. Can I continue that indefinitely? I mean, well, at some point, something's going to happen, and I won't be able to do one, but right now I'm going to try. All right, let me get around this guy. He's trying to get in the other lane. Whoa. All right, so I'll drive through the city. I'm going to work my way over to the Mohegan Park area just because, foliage. I mean, if there's going to be foliage anywhere, it's going to be there. Because that whole area is engulfed in a very wide variety and beautiful mixture of different types of trees, and I don't want to miss that. As we wait for this red light to turn green. Everybody's being very patient. And We are officially down city. We got our rotary. Oh yeah, we let the people cross. Oh yeah, no, go for it. Go for it. We let them. They get right away. Okay, let me go over to the courthouse. I want to take a quick look at that. Maybe I'll swing back. So we got our roundabout. And I mean, I got dozens and dozens and dozens of videos of me driving around Norwich. I'm going to let these gentlemen cross the street. And let's see here. Yeah, we're going to look at that courthouse because the way the sun is shining on that courthouse right now, I kind of don't want to miss that. All right, right there. I say courthouse, it's City Hall, 1873. That's when it was built. When they built buildings like that back in 1873, they built them to last. I'll tell you that much. All right, I'm on Broadway. Let's go up Broadway and find our way to the Mohegan Park area. I mean, look at these houses on your right. I always point them out, but I mean, you know, big columns and, you know, that's back in the day when Norwich was, you know, there was an area, this could be at Millionaires Row. I mean, shipping and a lot of reasons that Norwich was had so many prominent, wealthy people. And the history books will tell you everything you want to know about that. Let me take a look over here. Okay, I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, I'll turn right on red. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this right. I'm trying to think of a creative way to get up to Mohegan Park. I'm on Broad Street. The former Broad Street School to our left. Now I believe it's condominiums. Look at the white home to the left there. I mean, that's not some little... Whoever built that, had that built, you know, in the 1800s or whenever it was built, was a very wealthy person. I'm trying to think here. Let's see. Well, let me go straight. There's some nice fall color up there on the left. So I drive down Broad Street. All right. Let me be careful right here. All right, I'm gonna do one small maneuver here. Something over there was kind of rattling. Okay, let's proceed. All right, what does that do? Broad Street, Baltic. Let's go up Orchard Street. Whoa, this guy's taking up the whole road. You know, what's he beeping at me for? I got right away. I'm on the main road. Yeah, you get your people that don't know how to drive. I mean, they're out there. Back when I was younger, we had to take a comprehensive driving test. I'm sure they still do it, but man, it was strict. I mean, you had to do some very heavy testing as I drive up Orchard Street. Very heavy book, you know, studying and all this. Then they took you out for a driving test, obviously. Parallel parking, backing in, you know, I don't know. Do they still, you know, push these people getting their license as hard as they used to? I don't know. I mean, I notice when I drive around, a decent percentage of people don't use their signals. You know, I don't want to sound like some, you know, chronic complaining person as I turn left onto Rockwell Street here. But make note of it. The next time you go out, make note of how many people don't use their signal when they turn. It's significant. Also make note of how many people are using their cell phones to text while driving. I'm on Judd Road. We're heading into a heavily wooded area in the Mohegan Park section. Now there's that big water tower. There's a basketball court to the left. There's nobody here. Normally I'm going to pull into... Well, okay, there's one guy over there. Normally there's somebody over there playing basketball, but I just, you know... It's Sunday, everybody's home watching the games on TV, different sports, World Series, whatever, you know. There's a lot of pine in here. We're not going to see a lot of foliage in this area. But I'm going to work my way up to the other back section of Mohegan Park. Again, I don't know what I'm going to find. I mean, a lot of the trees could have shed their leaves. We're on Mohegan Park Road. I'm going to take a left onto Wilderness Road as I work my way over to the other side of Mohegan Park. Yeah, a lot of the leaves are down. All it takes is one good heavy rainstorm with wind, a significant amount of wind, and a lot of these leaves that'll be it. So there's some nice colors in the distance. Again, Norwich is not... I live in Norwich, okay, to the left. The sun hitting that tree right there is nice. I live in Norwich, and Norwich is not, you know, it's not noted as the foliage capital of Connecticut or anything of that manner, but I live in Norwich. Nobody has ever done videos about the foliage in Norwich. Let's do this. Somebody's got to do it. It may as well be me. There's not that many people driving around with cameras on their car either, so it's one of my favorite little drives right here. These pines on either side of the road. You just slice right down the middle of these things. Visually very pleasing. You got to take your time. 15 miles an hour through here. There's a decent amount of cars in that parking lot over there. That's good. That means there's a lot of people down walking around. They have a beautiful, it's, you know, a paved walking trail around the park. There's trails all throughout the place. There's things for, you know, kids, you know, slides, swings, you know, the whole, you name it, they got it. They have more than one. They have one on each side of the pond. Wow, some nice reflections, beautiful fall reflections. I think there's somebody fishing out there. Straight ahead, I hope you can see it. There's nobody behind me, so I can. There's a guy fishing across there. Beautiful fall colors in that Spalding Pond, middle of Mohegan Park. Yeah, straight ahead. Not too many leaves. A lot of barren trees. Right there. Whoa, that was super colorful about a week ago. So it just goes to show you, you know, different elevations, different soil conditions. Like, you know, that's kind of a swampy or very moist area back there. That can affect how rapidly the leaves fall off. So this, you know, temperature differences and whatever the case may be. But we'll drive around. Yeah, let me head up this way. I gotta think for a second. Okay. Let's head up here. That was actually still Wilderness Road. So Wilderness Road carried quite a distance. This is Ox Hill Road. To the right of me is disc golf. There's a disc golf course up there. I got a video where I walked the entire course. I didn't play. I just walked the course to show people, you know, what it looks like. It's on my channel right now if you're interested. Nice color directly ahead to the left up there. As we do a sweep, this will be my final Foliage drive. Let me get on this road. There's actually a willow tree straight ahead. This is Tower Hill Road. It's a dead end, but I'll go up here and I'll turn around. Haven't covered this in a long time. I believe they call it Tower Hill Road because the WICH radio station has gigantic towers that I'm going to turn. Maybe you can see some of them. See if I can point at these towers. Yeah. Right there. I don't know if you can catch those. 1, 2, 3 very tall towers that throw out probably an AM signal. I don't know. AM. There's AM, FM. I'm not sure. I would assume AM, amplitude modulation. And FM is, whether they go off the same antennas or not, I don't know. Okay, so that was Tower Hill Road. Let's get off there. Some decent colors to the left. Again, I think I mentioned it in one of the other videos. I don't think this is the first year I've ever done foliage drives around Norwich. I don't ever recall. I've done one, maybe Brooklyn. I think I drove to Brooklyn or Woodstock, Connecticut. But this year is the first time I've ever done foliage. autumn colors. In Norwich, specifically in Norwich. I'll take a right onto Asylum Street. Or, I'm sorry, Harlan Road. Asylum. We started near Asylum. And I'm going to cover that. Once they put that new Asylum Street pavement in there, I got to, even if it's a 5-minute video, I got a squirrel. It's not moving. But even if it's not more than a 5-minute video, well, to drive the length of Asylum at the speed limit would probably take 4 minutes, 3.5, 4 minutes, whatever, and back. So that's worth a video. That's well worth it. So Harlan Road, let's get into foliage friendly areas. Take a left onto Wayne Street. To the right, you get some nice maple trees there. On Wayne Street. .55 degrees. It is 1:11 p.m. Another house for sale on Wayne Street. I'm going to take a left onto Stewart Road. Which should bring me to Canterbury Turnpike, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. All right, I'll cruise. Normally I would go left. Let me cruise right, see what happens. I don't want to get too, I don't want to get out of Norwich. I want to stay in Norwich. There's a nice tree right there on the left. Orange, yellow, whatever. It's perfect. Right there. I mean, the lighting, like I said, if it was a softer lighting, it would be better. But that's all I can do right now. These are the conditions that are currently available. And they are provided free of charge just by nature. All right, you got Pin Oak Terrace over there on the right as I drive down Canterbury Turnpike. And this is eventually going to lead me out of Norwich, which I don't want to do. I think if I kept going, it would probably put me in Baltic, or a lot of trees on the left, swampy area, devoid of leaves. Let's get off Canterbury. I'm going to take a left. I want to see that bridge they've been working on. See if they finish that thing up. All right. So we are on Lawler Lane. And yeah, they're still working on the bridge. It's Sunday, so I assume they're not working today, but yep, 1-lane road ahead. So yeah, they're definitely, this is a big project. I mean, they're redoing this bridge top to bottom. But they've made a lot of progress as we wait for this red light here. I think it's got a sensor on it, so this isn't going to be a long one. Although there is somebody coming towards me, so we'll have to wait. It's not a problem. These guys are pulling out all the stops on this bridge, landscaping around it, foundational improvements, complete repaving, fencing, sidewalks, just top to bottom. I mean, they did everything short of tearing the entire bridge out. It was kept in place and restored. Again, the job is not 100% complete, but it's very close to completion. Eventually they'll just, pave over, dot the I's, cross the T's, and call it a day. As we patiently wait, I cannot go. This is one of these situations where, good. If you get a malfunctioning light, it's tricky because this is one way. This is a very narrow passageway. Here we are. We're on the bridge right now. Brand new. I mean, you can see new railing, new everything. And structurally, when I say, like the I-beams and the heart of the bridge, the foundational aspect of that bridge structure itself has been all redone. Hasn't been removed, it's been reinforced, let's put it that way. As I keep driving, this is Lawler Lane. I mean, I'm not blown away by the foliage, but it is what it is. Let's see here. This is going to put me on Scotland Road. Okay, good. Scotland Road might have some potential foliage-friendly areas. Either way, whether there's good foliage or bad foliage, unless this video is, somehow malfunctioned or didn't record anything, I'm putting it up on YouTube. As we cruise peacefully and gently down Scotland Road. Some color to the right, but it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. There's pockets of nice looking foliage here and there, and there's other areas that obviously are just completely, The trees are completely stripped of any leaves. So we're on Scotland. I mean, I got the sun almost directly overhead. It's 1:19 p.m. So maybe I'll go down the length of Scotland. Or at least finish out. I think Scotland, yeah. I'm going to follow Scotland all the way down. To the left, some nice colors. Obviously, I'm stating the obvious here. At least to my eye. How that transfers to video, guys, that's another story completely. I mean, there's nothing like the naked eye. There's a lot of people out right now, you know, doing drives, looking around at autumn colors all over New England. Because this is it. We're going to be, November's right around the corner, so. Very, very heavily wooded area. Scotland Road has the benefit of, you know, a country feel, the atmospherics of living in the country. Yet, right down the road, less than a mile down the road probably, shopping centers, hospitals, schools, recreation, tennis courts, basketball, everything you can think of. Best of both worlds. As we come to this leaves falling heavily in this area. As we come to the end of Scotland Road, I'm going to work my way back. I said this wasn't going to be the longest video in the world. This could be one of my rare under an hour videos. If that's, let's see what this thing clocks in at. I'm not sure. So off Scotland, onto Huntington Lane, a very important road. Historically, the home directly in front of us, right there, you're looking at it. George Washington was in that home. 100% verified paperwork that verifies it. I spoke with the owner. Documentation provided. It's fact. So that's impressive. This is so historic, this area. Right across the street there, right there, that yellow building is going to be getting painted, is Samuel Huntington. He signed the Declaration of Independence. He used to live there. So, I mean, that shows you the level of, you know, serious street cred that Norwich, Connecticut has with regards to historic significance dating back to the time that the Declaration of Independence was signed, that George Washington was, you know, walking around and actually spending some of his time in Norwich, Connecticut. So there's videos on YouTube that do a really good job of explaining this area of Norwich. This, you know, it's a nice presentation. First Congregational Church right there, beautiful. So that was Town Street briefly, and I'm on West Town Street now, so I'm going to work my way back to where I started on Plain Hill Road. And then that'll be the end of the video. But yeah, if you're interested in that area back there, there's more than one video with some people that do a real good job of explaining the history and significance of that particular location. It's a guy on a motorcycle. First person I saw. It's kind of cold. It's getting... The thing is, it's 57 degrees. That's not bad. But when you're... The motorcycles and, you know, these, I don't know, mopeds or whatever these guys drive around in, the wind, that's the thing that makes, you know, 57 degrees feel absolutely unbearable. But he seemed to be appropriately dressed back there with heavy, you know, you got to layer leather, you know, the outer coating would probably be a leather jacket of some kind. They use leather, I was told. Correct me if I'm wrong. If somebody had an accident and fell off, you know, literally fell off a motorcycle and slid, their body slid, the leather would, there's some modicum of protection there. Whether that's a valid point or, you know, fact of reality, I don't know. I was told that by somebody that was pretty well versed in motorcycles, particularly Harley Davidsons. So we're kind of back. Let me turn up Plain Hill Road, take a glance. Maybe we'll get a shot at some nice foliage right directly in front of us there. And once I get up here a little bit more, this video will come to a conclusion. Final video of the Foliage in Norwich series. Alright, now where did I start? Somewhere around here. I think so. This video is over.